Welcome back to the Bejeweled podcast, the podcast that, well, just keeps on going until someone hits a certain very random number. Clearly, 281 is that random, right? I'm Joel, I'm the Epic 121, and I can't believe I'm saying this for the first time in 9 years. I finally got new controllers for my Switch. And more than just a Joy-Con, by the way.
Nice. And I'm Giozak, and currently in my room it is 72.3 degrees Fahrenheit and 45% relative humidity. I sort of bought this on a whim this past week. I think hydrometer is technically what it's called when it's like measures both relative humidity and
Thanks for telling us it's 22.4 degrees Celsius, Giozak.
Yeah, correct. It has a Celsius mode.
Yes, I did that math on the fly.
Yeah. I mean, I also could have just told you because I can switch with a button press between Fahrenheit and Celsius.
Mr.
I'm not even calculating. I'm pressing a button.
All I did was press a button.
All I did was press A.
Welcome to the 40th main Bejeweled podcast. I know I've been doing a light podcast series, but if you talk about the main podcast, it's number 40. And yes, as you can tell, we have got some. It's been a while, but first, I also can say that this is actually the first time in 9 years I've bought new controllers for my Switch. It's quite crazy because just like for the very first time, I can say that I finally experienced Joy-Con drifting.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Maybe we can discuss that a little bit.
Maybe.
More.
Alongside the ever interesting topic of has Fortnite gone a bit too far? And Johnson, I think I know exactly what character I'm talking about. I think
so.
We're about to find out. Yeah. With that said, if you're hyped for another podcast here on the channel, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to content if you're new, follow Giant on his handles. What are you doing? He has amazing videos that talk about anything under the sun, especially about Switch 2. And of course, ring that bell to find I upload. Last podcast on the card up here. And if you missed the light series of the podcast, last light podcast also on the card up here. Sorry I feel a bit energetic. Honestly, it just feels great to be back.
I mean, it's not like it's been forever since we've last done a podcast. I think it's been like a month and some change. So, not too bad.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I'm making out to be, but you can tell I'm still hyped.
Yeah.
Anyways, you ready, Jozak?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, well, there goes nothing. Just get this up. Perfect. Okay. Well, I mean, first of all, geez. Didn't think that after 6 years we'll be doing 40 podcasts now. I mean, granted, you weren't in some because I've expanded out the roster, but all the more, it still feels pretty nice. Don't even hit a nice round number again.
Yeah. If you would have told me like at the start of doing this that, oh hey, you're gonna do at least 40 of these, it's like I wouldn't have really like believed you. Like if someone would have told me that.
I couldn't believe it myself either.
Yeah.
Like that just feels surreal, like thinking like, well, we've been chatting for like, I don't know, upwards to 70 plus hours on stream. What?
Right. Shoot, we just started and I already had a thought that just kind of fluttered away. Oh boy.
That will happen on the podcast.
Right. Yeah, I think the thing that has like helped us to get to this amount of episodes is the fact that we don't have like a strict schedule for when we do these. It's just kind of as and when we have time for them. Granted, like we have been doing them more frequently this year so far, or just lately. Because for a while it's like we would only do 2-3 a year at some points.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that it has generally been like the schedule has been like unstructured has helped in its longevity, basically.
Love the fact that I still have stuck to my guns on what honestly at first was a ridiculous idea. Like, I love Bejeweled too. Like, no, don't get me wrong on that. But at the same time, knowing that this is 281 that I need to hit in order for this podcast, quote unquote, to end.
Yeah, end.
Yeah, it's like, man, I might as well like keep going until I finish it because I'm that close. I am that close.
Yeah, it's what is it called? Sunk cost fallacy? It's like, once you've devoted so much time and energy into something, it's like you may as well finish it, but like, we're already, 204 out of 281, like, yeah, at this point, you may as well just keep pushing.
Yep, that's pretty much where I am, honestly. All the more, at least it gives me a nice break off of, like, main stay alive. Of course, you guys know that I've also, along the way, paused daily content, so I don't feel as stressed to post out all these on time. Not that I don't, but it's just around the idea that I don't feel like, I need to get this up real quickly. No, it doesn't feel like that anymore.
Yeah. I think just for so much content in general, I think having an unstructured schedule is actually the way to go. And I've heard this even from like larger YouTubers, that having like a quote-unquote upload schedule is almost like an antiquated concept, because depending on like the audience that you end up getting on something like YouTube, they're generally like, they don't care if you have a schedule or not. If they like the stuff that you're putting out, it doesn't matter when you put it out.
Yeah, I kind of sort of see it that way this year. Like, I don't know how in the world I'm 1/3 of the way to 600 subscribers from 500. Just posting not on the regular. Like, that's why I'm just like, wait, why am I at 533? This should not be happening. I'm posting, like, literally almost, like, one main video per week.
Yeah, it's weird, like, to a degree, doing daily stuff that isn't shorts is almost more detrimental.
Exactly. I mean, the only reason I posted the shorts is just the fact that I'm devoted to a game that I know for a fact I don't have to pay money on, and I know I can do daily content on, and it turns out pretty well, to say the least.
Yeah, doing the Pokemon, what is it, trading card game Pocket?
Correct.
Yeah, and you're opening up a pack. Is it a pack a day?
Well, a pack or two. I kind of like went away from just only one pack because, as you can tell, desperation in a certain set.
Okay. I haven't really like been like consistent with watching that, even though it's like a shorts series, but like,
how dare
yeah,
you?
it
I'm
is. Hey, in my defense, I've been trying everything that I can to consume as little short form content as possible, because I know the way that I personally am. And if I start watching one, I will be watching shorts or whatever for like 40 minutes, and then remember, oh, I have to go do something.
This is why I don't own TikTok.
Yeah, don't do anything TikTok.
Anyways, away from that rabbit hole, you mentioned that short content ends up make you do long short content, or watch long short content, I should say.
Yeah, it kind of like will end up getting me into like a viewing session of just scrolling shorts or whatever for like at least 30 or 40 minutes. Unless
like
if I catch myself. Yeah. Which unintentional consequence of that is I kind of know how to edit stuff to better accommodate for grabbing attention for shorts.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, which, like, I kind of incorporated some of that when I was doing the Pokedoku, shorts for, your channel, but, in, like, my previous job, so, like, currently right now, I do, essentially, just general video production stuff, going out and, filming things, and then coming back to the office and editing the footage and stuff. Is actually what my degree is in. Before that, I was working at our local library here in undisclosed location, and, I kind of not... I basically ended up becoming a sort of character for the Instagram reels for the library. In a short form content series that I came up with the idea of. I'm gonna withhold the exact not topic, but just like the general idea of what those are, because for one, I still live in the area, so even though, like, if you know where to look, you can find it, but I want to use the idea that I had for that series potentially in the future for maybe doing it, like, completely on my own. But suffice it to say, all my experience watching short-form content ended up influencing the way that I edited that shorts, or, yeah, those Instagram reels, that series.
Oh, that's good.
So, I don't know, in some ways it's bad, but other ways it's like I've been able to, like, kind of channel that experience into, like, an actually productive manner.
Well, at least there is some good in, like, you know, overwatching. But of course, don't do that, kids. Don't do that too much. Focus on what's important sometimes.
Right. That's why I don't have Instagram on my phone right now. I kind of go in and out of having social media on my phone. Right now, it's specifically I don't have Instagram on there.
Wait, what style you want? Animal style?
I'm sorry, what?
You said in and out.
Oh my gosh. I was like, what on earth are you referring to?
Yes, there's clearly an animal style of editing your shorts. You just have to go wild on it.
Yeah. Yeah, just go back to the old days of MLG edits.
Anyways.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, it's for as much, like, it's weird because even though I've channeled that experience into making stuff on shorts that a lot of people have watched, I don't really want to do short form content really for, like, my main YouTube channel. I've thrown around the idea, but, like, I don't know. I would just rather spend that time doing, like, actual, like, proper, like, YouTube videos instead.
I see.
And also, in a sense, because I know, like, good editing when it comes to short form content, I feel kind of, like, what be the right word? Not like,
Accomplished?
yeah, or like an accomplice, or that complicit, I don't know, just in the fact that I'm contributing to potentially other people like getting trapped in that loop of you just find yourself scrolling short form content and it's like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, I see where you're coming from. I actually can't think of the word right now, but maybe we'll approach me later. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know.
So
it definitely feels crazy though, for all of this, and all this started from the fact that both of us know Luigi's mentioned Dark Moon. It all started with that.
Yeah.
To think.
Which speaking of, we should maybe talk about at not like during the podcast, but at some point, just like playing the HD re-release more. So I think we've only done one Scare Scraper session.
We could record
HD.
some Scare Scraper sessions properly, if you know what I mean. We could.
Yeah, record or live stream. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
At some point.
You never know.
Not on the podcast. Yeah.
All right. On to the main meat and potatoes. Yeah, actually, honestly, the Joy-Con trick could be something we talk about, because honestly, I didn't even think of that. But Fortnite. I mean, everyone knows it. Everyone either loves it or hates it at this point. I feel like it's one of those things where, oh, it's so popular. Some people have some popularity bias, or anti-bias, maybe. But now comes the interesting issue of, have they gone a bit too far? Jazek, I think last month there was a character that was introduced that I think a lot of our generation is definitely cringing at.
Yeah, I think I know the character you're referring to, but I don't remember what their name is exactly.
Let's just say, I mean, overall, I think we know where it comes from, right?
Yeah, isn't it from, like... Isn't it from, like, generative AI?
Yeah, and at the same time, it's like, what was it, Italian brain rot that they were talking about?
That's right, yeah.
So, that came out recently. They also had, I mean, not to say that it's as bad or as cringy, but you also had Perry the Platypus and Dr. Duber's members from Phineas and Ferb, but Perry the Platypus is buff for some reason.
I was not aware of that.
And then also recently they announced Ben 10 to be in Fortnite as well.
Okay.
But honestly, at this point in time, for such a successful game that right now, if I'm not mistaken, it's at Chapter 7, Season 2, I think. Tells me, and I'm not too sure you feel the same way, they might have gone a bit too far with allowing characters to be in the game.
Yeah, stuff that isn't from, like, actual, like, established IPs, basically.
Stuff that also doesn't feel fitting for an FPS game, too. I mean, granted, I know Fortnite is more than just an FPS, there are several other modes, but knowing that the main gist is FPS, why are you inviting characters that make zero sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point it's almost like part of Fortnite's, like, part of the shtick, or rather, Fortnite knows how ridiculous a lot of these characters are, and they're almost, like, leaning into that of, like, these are characters that don't really make sense to be in an FPS, but it's amusing to various degrees that they are. So I think it's, like, partly because of that, like, they know, like, how kind of insane some of these characters are. I mean, in a sense, you could, like, make the same argument of, why is Animal Crossing Villager in Super Smash Bros.? They're not really a character you would find in a fighting game, yet they are.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
amusing that they are, because it is so, like, yeah, just that dichotomy can inherently be amusing, but I guess also it depends on if the developers of whatever given game are aware of that, like, dichotomy, and how exactly they should lean, like, into that is, I think, like, a whole other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I actually also remind myself, yeah, Smash Brothers is also another culprit of like game characters that don't make sense.
Yeah.
So I can't really be
Yeah.
arguing on that front. Although, though, now that I think about it further, do you think there's also maybe a case of the people behind Fortnite being trapped in a trap to become a culture vulture?
Yeah. I'm not familiar. Is Culture Vulture?
Okay, no,
Oh,
I know I'm not sure if I am using the term correctly, but the way I am saying it is a sense of if Fortnite does not catch up with the times, catch up with the new trends now and then, they will miss out on a new generation of potential players.
yeah.
On a game that they know has been the bulk of their finances, their income over the last, I dare say, decade.
Yeah, I mean, Fortnite definitely brings in a lot of money if it's a free-to-play game that has still been continuing to this day since the Battle Royale mode was released, because Fortnite started out as not the Battle Royale that we know of it as today. Battle Royale, I believe, used to just be a side mode, but it got split out into its own completely separate thing.
Fortnite in 2018 looks at Fortnite 2026. What did they do to you?
Let's see. I'm getting various definitions of culture vulture.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not using that term properly, am I?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that term further to actually determine. It looks like there's potentially some nuance into it, so it's I don't want to say
Oh no,
anything for certain.
The only reason I use that term is that I have heard it in rap conversation, but I thought I might use it to a degree in this conversation as well about games, especially with Fortnite. As I said, part of me wonders whether people around there are just basically the fear of missing out, FOMO. The idea that if they do not keep up with trends and some things that have come up recently, that they will miss out on the opportunity to attract a certain group of people who have not played Fortnite, basically, or attract returning players back into the game just because of a character that they like is now in Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this does kind of tie back to what we were discussing with in engaging content is optimizing for retention, is continuously bringing people back. And so I think in a sense, because of how big Fortnite is, yeah, I think it does make sense for kind of what Fortnite is trying to do, is being a free-to-play game that gets people continuously coming back, even if it's just adding cosmetics of, quite frankly, bat crap random.
Yeah, to an extent it feels like it, sadly.
Yeah. So, and I think they definitely know how, like the memeability of some characters are. Sorry, I see...
Apologies. I'm gonna break this up for a bit.
Yeah.
I've been waiting weeks ever since the new partnership with CW, which is a sports channel, and the PBA, which is the Professional Bowls Association. Finally, Belmo's in the next show!
Nice.
Finally! Been waiting so many weeks. He's finally in the show. Proper.
Nice. Sorry, right as I looked over to the preview that I have for the stream, I just saw you, like, freaking out. It's like, oh, something's going on.
Sorry, tangent break. I've been waiting hours to figure out where he was in. The problem with, like, the media, which allows you to, like, see, like, where the players are, for some reason it was delayed on the very last game. I was waiting for that 42nd and last game to play so that I could finally see the final 5. Oh my goodness, it took, like, I felt like an hour for it to load.
Wow.
And now I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. He's finally in the show.
Nice. Nice.
Anyways, back to what you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I don't know, Fortnite is definitely in an interesting, like, situation where, I mean, like they're definitely bringing people back in on a regular basis because of, like, new content. I to be fair, I have not actually played Fortnite in years. I tried it out when I got my original Switch. I played a couple matches, but didn't really play much of it at all after. I just kind of vaguely know what's going on, but I know they, like, with new chapters and new seasons and everything, they alter, like, the map in various ways and add things to the map itself, like actual, like, playable content. Whereas, like, the skins are more so like, they don't actually add anything to the gameplay. They are purely cosmetic, and I think that's also part of their strategy, is get people in with, like, quite frankly, the meme skins, but at the same time introduce, like, new actual interesting, like, gameplay stuff.
Yeah. And to think that we started with just regular humans, and then all of a sudden...
Yeah, Perry the Platypus, but
Bart Simpson.
Incredibly buff. Yeah. Yeah.
It just feels weird. Did I mention, you mentioned about breaking up the map, like the map changes. Did you know there was a Simpsons themed map one time?
I heard something about that, yeah.
Yeah, everything was Simpsons. Like the Simpsons, like the art style, it legit, and the whole map was that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it gets wacky, and sometimes it'd be like, where has this gone? Well, why all of a sudden am I playing as, why am I playing all of a sudden as a Formula 1 driver?
Yeah.
Because I do know that Lewis Hamilton was a skin as well.
Okay. Gotcha.
So yeah, it's like that kind of. Well, then again, I guess the other plus side is that there also can act as a nice conversation starter, because knowing that, you know, at least there is some sort of, you know, relation between all these characters. Is like, oh, what do these have in common? They are all in Fortnite.
Yeah. Yeah. Would Fortnite be considered, like, the true ultimate crossover game?
That's the thing.
Because
Part of me wonders if they were just if at this point they have like deluded themselves. Well, not really deluded. That's kind of a negative word. They have kind of subtly holding themselves in that position. I'm not sure there's an actual word for it, but you know what I mean. Like, they subtly have been putting themselves in that kind of position where they have realized they are at this point being an ultimate crossover, and they decide, you know what, let's just go absolutely wacky over some of these releases. Now, of course, we know not everyone can be in Fortnite. There are some IPs that are definitely protected that Nintendo may or may not manage to grab. So it's definitely not like everyone can be in the game, but they definitely have managed to pulse a lot of strings.
Yeah, it's you mentioned Nintendo. There were like talks within Epic about like potentially like getting Samus as a playable skin, because I think that was disclosed during a lot of the Epic versus Apple lawsuit. Like, that was part of the documentation that was released, is that I think it was Epic specifically wanted Samus in as a skin, but Nintendo was like, no. No, especially just because like their IP would then be shown alongside all these other IP that they wouldn't have control over, and so Nintendo was just like, no. It's interesting because in the Switch version of Rocket League, there were Mario and Luigi skins for, I don't think it was the Octane car, but the car that they were for has the same stats as the Octane. I know that enough about Rocket League because I several years ago I played it regularly with one of my older brothers, and so, but that skin was only visible on Nintendo Switch. If you used that car with that skin in a cross-platform match, any non-Switch platforms would not see the skin, they would just see the basic car. So, they could do a similar thing with Fortnite. At the same time, despite that, Switch players would still see Nintendo IP, like Samus from Metroid, alongside whatever generative AI brain rot bullcrap is the meme of the week, and Nintendo is not gonna like that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I guess there was a case of Nintendo didn't feel comfortable allowing Nintendo IP characters be association with such nonsense. I don't know. I can't think of a blunter word, sadly. So it's almost like, oh boy, it's almost like, you know, those higher up sports people where they want to, like, sometimes they have to do their best to protect their image. Nintendo honestly is the game representative of that kind of persona.
Yeah.
Where in a sense that they just feel as though that some things just need to be protected. They need to make it look as though they're the best. Yeah, like, okay, I don't want to use this word too lightly, but holy per se.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, we already know this. Not really the best way to approach it at times.
Yeah, Nintendo is like very protective of their IP, almost kind of to a fault at times, especially with like even just maintaining the prices of like older games, like Mario Odyssey, released in 2018. That's almost 8 years ago, almost, and because it was like October 2018, and that still retails for $60, the same price it launched at, like way back then, because they want to maintain this perception of quality that Nintendo games and Nintendo products like hold their value over time, and like maintaining this almost wholly adjacent like image or reputation. But like Nintendo stuff still sells, at least here in the Switch and Switch 2 generations. So like it's at the very least not hurting them yet.
Keyword yet.
Yeah. There's stuff relating to this that I do want to like kind of touch on like later, maybe. I don't know if you had anything more just related to Fortnite.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I just realized in the midst of us, like, you know, somewhat bashing Fortnite over the crossovers, it's just because of the fact that I realized that the problem with an FPS game is that it's unfortunately just that limited number of characters that you can pull that would fit an FPS playstyle.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for games that they know they can pull from it, like as you mentioned, Samus, or Overwatch, or potentially League of Legends, or any kind of MMORPG, the problem now becomes an IP problem rather than a it fits problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that
right.
is the other problem I guess Fortnite has, where in a sense that there's not enough characters for them to be like, oh, this fits perfectly to an FPS, let's try get it. Because the problem also might become of IP, where like they need to get the correct, like the right paperwork in order to allow that character to be in it. And as we've seen from Samus, not that easy.
Right. I guess like thinking back to Smash Brothers, kind of related to all of that like extra paperwork needed for certain characters. Back in like the days of Smash 3DS and Wii U, there was the fighter ballot where people could request characters that they wanted to see in Smash Brothers, and apparently the character that was requested the most was Sora from Kingdom Hearts. They couldn't get the rights or the ability to put Sora into Smash 4. It wasn't until the very last character slot in Smash Ultimate that Sora was able to be in a Smash Brothers game, and still that must have been a freaking mountain of paperwork that they had to do with Disney.
We can't get Sora into Smash. Very, very, very fine print print work yet.
Right. And that's why when they announced the final character for Smash 4, Bayonetta, they specifically used the language of Bayonetta was the most realizable character for the game. And that's because getting Bayonetta in required far less paperwork.
I believe it also made it the second ever Sega character to make it into Smash.
You're talking about Sora?
No, Bayonetta.
Bayonetta,
Because I know Bayonetta is Sega owned, I believe.
Are they? I thought it was Platinum Games.
Was it not Sega?
Wait, no, publisher Sega. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Developers Platinum Games. Okay. That's what I was thinking of.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, to know that it took that long for them to get a second Sega, wow, that is a tongue twister, second Sega character, I mean, that just proves how difficult it is to get the correct IPs in order to be like, hey, this character's now in this our game.
Mm-hmm. Which, it's interesting because they had to fit in Bayonetta, who is... I believe the Bayonetta games are rated M. They had to kind of... Sorry, I'm looking at the eShop page for...
Yeah, I know. She's tall.
Bayonetta, yeah.
Okay, no, that's not the point we're trying to say, but the real point is...
Yeah, but she's a character from an M-rated game, and a lot of her attributes are very much so within that realm, so they had to... even if it was easier to get Bayonetta into Smash, or get the paperwork all situated, they had to have her fit into Smash Brothers without having to raise the ESRB rating for Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Which I think is a whole other discussion.
That is. Especially when you think of, I mean, I feel like many people like to over-sexualize Bayonetta to an extent when they look at that character. Unintentional, totally unintentional plug for the later podcast lights, clearly not.
I mean, Bayonetta, like, purposely does that, because it goes, like, along with the... To my understanding, because I haven't played the Bayonetta games, I have kind of wanted to, I just haven't gotten around to it, but, dumb joke, part of the reason why Bayonetta acts and, like, is the way that she is in in the Bayonetta series is because she was originally an angel cast out from heaven and is, like, trying... I think it's, like, trying to get... I don't know, is it revenge? I don't know. Basically, she acts the way that she does to purposely be... a jerk.
Yeah.
To the forces that kicked her out from heaven.
Yeah, it's quite the dark concept for our character.
Mm-hmm.
So as you mentioned, definitely was difficult for them to say hey, let's make her E10.
Yeah, it's like she's purposely the way that she is to be a provocative character, and so yeah, trying to essentially not dumb her down, but just water her down to fit that ESRB rating is, yeah.
No one know what she is, but she's provocative.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was rent free in my brain when you said that.
Yeah, I've, like, talking about the games specifically, I have wanted to actually play them for myself. It's just, hasn't been a priority for me whatsoever. Like, even when they go on sale, it's like, I don't really... haven't really cared to, like, actually play them. I think it's because they're very much so, like, pure, like, action type games, and I mean, I like that. It's just, I don't know if I would like a series that is basically just that for 3 games.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it further, but...
In due time,
yeah.
probably.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me,
I should not.
but
Sorry. Actually, I was about to say I shouldn't be browsing the eShop when there's a sales going on, because I see Doom 2016 is on sale for $4, but it doesn't matter because I already bought it. So
link back to the last podcast we were talking about like how sales keep attracting us to buy stuff.
yeah, which granted, like I've been very stringent about that. I have seldom bought games this year, which that being said, this ties into something that I was already kind of hinting at earlier as well, about like pricing and stuff, but maybe we can get to that when we get to that.
Probably, yeah. Part of me also bringing back, I do actually want to mention one last thing, and that is how Fortnite is inferior in terms of like available characters, because I mentioned about how they have trouble with that. Guess what games do not have trouble with that? Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, a game that we definitely talked before in the past, but I have to bring it up again because if you look at what they have done, it's like, yeah, it makes sense because it's a general game concept. Anyone can race. Well, as long as they have two hands, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, isn't the Goomba in Mario Kart World?
Yeah, it's like, what? But when you look at Sonic Racing Cross, it's like, everyone kind of makes sense. I mean, Hatsune Miku, yes, please.
Yeah. But also, yes, Goomba is in Mario Kart World. I kind of forgot about that.
So it's like, you have, like, you know, Nintendo trying their best to just fit everyone in. It's just like, even though it doesn't make sense. And then you have Sonic Racing Cross, which is just like, yeah, we'll make sure that these all make sense, let alone they are quite interesting to race with. What was it? The Angry Birds Red Bird also in there?
Oh.
But it kind of also, it actually still makes sense all the more that they can race.
Sure.
I know. At first it's like, what? But at the same time, it's like, you can't fault them for allowing that kind of IP to enter. Versus what Fortnite has been doing, when you look at some of the characters they put, it's like, why is a non-FPS character in an FPS game? Like, on the surface, and you know how the world is, sometimes they always like to just look at the surface. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds makes more sense in terms of their characters compared to Fortnite, I would dare say.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, in and of itself, it's like the kart racing genre. What character would be best suited for that genre of game anyways? It's, yeah, it basically anyone with two arms, but that's not gonna stop some characters.
I mean, to be fair, some of the characters have done racing before. I know Angry Birds have done it. SpongeBob has a racing game, I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think, like, Nicktoons in general.
And any Sega character, just mention Sonic and All-Stars Racing. So it's like, you can't really fault them for those, and it makes sense at the same time.
Right.
It's cool, though, that they also brought back, what was it, like, Sonic Archie comic characters?
Okay.
Which I feel like is awesome to see that they're tapping to that, you know, facet.
Yeah, that's cool.
So there is meaning into their characters, unlike, well, Fortnite ammo. Like, Smash Brothers, I can forgive them to an extent because it's not always about, you know, actual, like, it's about fighting, and I feel like any character can fight in their own rights.
Yeah, even the Animal Crossing villager.
Yeah, that's why it's like, I can forgive them for, like, some characters that are like, why? But at the same time, I guess that's true. Kind of vibe. I don't know, that's just my viewpoint amongst all of this. Like, for me, Smash Brothers still makes more sense compared to Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which makes more sense than Fortnite in terms of their characters. That's my final say on this.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree.
But we'll know. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens in time. Maybe Fortnite could technically go on a renaissance where they bring back like OG like characters that maybe make sense, or who knows, just as how it took many years for Smash Brothers to get Sora to the game. Maybe in due time and years later we may finally see a Nintendo character in Fortnite, but time will tell.
It'll be interesting, like, whatever stipulations or whatever would have to be in place for a Nintendo character to be in Fortnite. Like, would they go the route of Rocket League and like have that character only be visible on the Nintendo version of the game?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Be interesting to see. Yeah. Unrelated to Battle Royale, I think Save the World is coming to Switch 2. Switch 2.
I've watched Switch Isaac. He has a free computer he can just research on. I don't.
Right. Fortnite Save the World goes free to play April 16th.
Yep.
So Save the World will be free on Switch 2. Wait. That means it's already
Free.
out? It's already out? I was not aware of this. Is it just part of Fortnite? Or is it like... No, it is a paid thing. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so yeah, it is out. Fortnite. Yeah, okay. I was not aware of this. I may legitimately look into that because I haven't really cared for like the Battle Royale portion of Fortnite, but Save the World looks decently interesting. So I'll look around for the eShop listing here. Or maybe like later, actually. I don't know, that was or is it? I don't know. I'm trying to do like research about this in the middle of a podcast. I should not be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, at least give me a bit of time to do this, right?
Yeah.
Anytime that you're dabbling on the internet, I'm just dabbling with jewels.
I mean, if we are kind of done with talking about Fortnite, I can kind of talk about the stuff that I was like alluding to like throughout the discussion.
Yeah, go ahead. I think we're pretty much done. I mean, I was about to ask like what character would you want to see in Fortnite, but I feel like kind of redundant considering they probably will put that in due time. Knowing Epic Games.
It would be this. I have an idea for a character that they could implement in kind of a stupid way. Is Captain Olimar, but all your ammunition is just throwing Pikmin at the other.
See, the problem with that is that
it
doesn't really fit the FPS kind of genre, unless you're telling me that the Pikmin come out from a pistol or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and just the Pikmin happen to just be the skin for the ammunition.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And every gunshot is just like the different Pikmin sounds.
Oh, jeez Louise. That would just be annoying to the ears, admittedly.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. As I said before, the ultimate story is we'll see what happens. Let's just hope that it doesn't go too far to where people are like, yeah, no, I'm out.
It would be interesting if they incorporated a Pikmin mechanic of using the corpse of a downed player to then propagate more Pikmin to basically use other people's corpses as ammo refills.
Oh, for part of me, I was just like, what morbid idea are you going? Then I realized, wait a minute, that's the concept of Pikmin, never mind.
I don't know how ammo works in Fortnite if you have to, like, find refills
Oh,
or...
jeez, the Pikmin are in plants rather than chests.
Yeah, I mean, could.
You never know.
I don't know.
Anyways, as you prepare yourself for your topic you want to talk about, I just want to quickly give an update. More streams coming up in May. I know I've been very silent throughout April. I've been very busy with an internal project within my workplace, so that's why I've been busy. However, I can say that I'm back up in full force. May will definitely have way more streams than usual. Probably with the podcast number 6. Notice I skipped number 5 because that number 5 is coming out tonight in probably about 9 hours time, I would say, Jalzak.
Oh, what time did you say?
Yeah, 9 hours time and doing a second podcast.
Okay.
The light version. And its funny thing is because we were talking about Bayonetta, we will be talking about how the gacha world has kind of over/hypersexualized characters, mostly in the female sense.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be talking about that in, as I said, about 9 to 10 hours time. With that said, podcast light number 6 will be finally us going back into analysis of Pokemon TCG Pocket. If I'm not mistaken, it's Extra Dimensional Crisis and Eevee Grove that we'll be talking about. That's the update I want to give out in terms of streams and, of course, future podcasts. Anyways, you have been alluding this throughout the podcast, Mr. Charles Egg. What is your topic for today?
Yeah, so this is something that other regions, like, especially I've heard, like, in the UK, that this has been the case for forever now, is that, or maybe not quite the same, but somewhat kind of analogous, or whatever. Basically, at least here in the US, going forward, at least certain new Switch 2 games are gonna be cheaper digitally than the physical version of the game. Which, like, it makes sense and is something that, like, people have talked about since digital games have been a thing, is that, oh yeah, with digital, you're not buying, like, physical materials, so, like, digital should be cheaper, but for, like, at least in the case of Nintendo, digital games have stayed, like, the same price as the physical versions. Which, in a lot of Europe, that's been the case, is that physical, or, like, digital is cheaper than physical, but, like, it varies from region to region. I just know that that's a thing, from all of, like, the initial discussions after the Switch 2 Direct, in April last year, is, it's like, Mario Kart World was, digital 80 euros and physical 90 euros, something like that. But, a certain retailer, specifically Walmart, has opened up pre-orders for both Yoshi and the Mysterious Book and Splatoon Raiders. And the price of those physical pre-orders is the same as the digital price. So you're able, at least for right now, via Walmart, you're able to pre-order Yoshi for $60, where it retails physically for $70, and Splatoon Raiders for $50 instead of the standard $60 for the physical. I don't know, it's just interesting because for like the standard price for Switch 1 games here in the States has been, or like was $60 for like the entirety of the system's lifespan. Tears of the Kingdom was an anomaly that was $70, but woo, shoot. I don't know, it's, in a sense, it almost feels like, because, like, retailers aren't beholden to sticking to the MSRP from a company. That's why the acronym is Manufacturer's Suggested Retail Price. It's not something they have to directly adhere to. Basically, will this, going forward, mean that Switch 2 games will actually largely be priced the same as Switch 1 games, if not cheaper? Even physical. At least here in the States. It's...
That is a bold prediction for prices to come. The problem, of course, I feel like the issue now becomes like, would Nintendo benefit from such a price drop?
So, to my understanding, if someone buys one of these games from Walmart, Walmart still gives like the same cut to Nintendo that any other retailer selling the same game would. So if anything, it's driving more people to buy the game through Walmart, and therefore it's almost kind of smart on Walmart's end because it's driving more people to buying from them, and like if enough people buy from them, it will increase their profit.
Wait, so they're getting 60, for example, if the game was 60, 70, so you're telling me like they gain 60 from the customer, but they lose 70 to Nintendo?
Yeah, so, my understanding could be wrong, but my understanding is that, it's, suggested, or it's a manufacturer's suggested retail price because at the end of the day, however many copies are sold, a certain amount of revenue has to go to Nintendo. Sorry, at this point now I'm kind of losing my own point, but basically it should mean that it, like, if more people pre-order through Walmart, like, it's gonna earn Walmart more revenue, even though they're still having to give the same cut to Nintendo. Basically.
Interesting. I don't know, man, I'm not really one to know business and then like a supermarket, so that's why I'm not really one to fully judge the system by any means. I mean, if it works, it works. That's pretty much where I am with that.
Right, and I probably should have like looked into it a little bit more, but this is something that I wasn't like exactly expecting to like actually talk about, but I was decided, you know what, let's talk about this topic as a whole.
Does GameStop do the same, or sometimes I know that they have their like exchange back thingy that they did at one time, but have there been times that GameStop did the same thing?
I don't think GameStop has done anything similar. Now that I'm thinking about it, this isn't the first time that Walmart is doing this. For much of the Switch generation, it might have specifically been pre-orders that Walmart were doing basically $10 off like they are now. So I don't know why they changed to have that not be a thing for a while, but now they are doing that again.
Maybe cut losses.
Yeah, maybe they know that like if they match the price of digital, it may drive more people to buy from them as opposed to like GameStop or Target or Best Buy, like the other big retailers for games.
Part of me said, "Oh, go ahead. I'll tell you."
And basically bring in more revenue for them, even if it means having to sell more copies.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, I was already planning on getting those games. I was just kind of, trying to decide, like, do I go digital and save that $10? Or do I get it physical, sure, spend a couple extra bucks, but have the game on the cart and have it not take up space on my system? But then hearing about Walmart doing this, it's like, okay, no, this is, like, I get the benefit of a digital game, of the data not being on the system outside of update data, and I get it for the cheaper price. I'm gonna pre-order both through Walmart. Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. No, I'm unfortunately spending my own money. But they're both games that I've, like Splatoon Raiders, definitely, I've, been anticipating. Yoshi, I was kind of on the fence about, but they've recently released more, footage of, and it's like, okay, no, it's definitely a different take on, a Yoshi game, but it still looks fun enough. So, yeah, I don't know, it's just interesting because this is kind of the first time that us here in the States are getting this similar structure or just idea that other countries have had, where digital is a little cheaper than physical, but like immediately there's at least one retailer that is like trying to match that digital price, so then you buy through them, and they get more profit.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that plays out for Walmart, and I feel like, okay, the one thing I'll say, definitely is an advantage. You can definitely increase sales, but that's all because of it kind of all stemmed from the fact that people were not happy with the physical-digital split that happened with Nintendo saying, like, oh, most of the games will be like digital, sort of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's also a contributing factor as to why Walmart probably was like, you know what, let's take advantage of the displeasure that people have had with digital versus physical when Nintendo announced it.
Yeah. A lot of people, like, initially took that announcement of, oh, there's going to be difference between digital versus physical as, oh, physical games are more expensive. But, like, looking, like, when I initially saw the footage of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, I had a feeling like, okay, they're going to charge $70 for this. And that's the MSRP for the game physical. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. I was anticipating Splatoon Raiders to also be $70. But no, it's 60 physical. So, like, yeah, I don't know, it really is feeling like, especially when they talked about last year, variable pricing, it's like, okay, now it feels like they're actually following up on, like, these ideas and everything that they've talked about in regards to that. I almost wonder if they're doing this, like, variable pricing and cheaper pricing for digital, like, purely as a way to, like, ensure extra sales of games. Just because, like, maybe they know that the price of the Switch 2 is still off-putting to people, and maybe they're trying everything that they can to keep, like, a certain quota of sales before they have to even consider raising the price of the Switch 2.
There is also that.
Which, within the next year, that might not be a thing we have to worry about, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Don't know if, exactly,
The details?
well, let's just say this upcoming November will be very interesting for here in the States.
Oh, yeah,
So,
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
because if things play out a certain way, then stuff relating to at least tariffs won't really be part of the discussion at all.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have to, like, at least slick that one in, because it is unfortunately part of the discussion, even though we really don't want it to.
Yeah. Another part of the discussion is going back to, like, the thought of, oh, physical games are getting more expensive, that, like, that's what people thought was happening, is also due to, like, the cost of RAM and SSD prices, because AI companies are buying up all of that hardware. And I was looking at micro SD cards earlier today, like the prices of them. So, okay. This past Black Friday, I bought a 512 gig micro SD express card for my Switch 2. It was like less than $100 because I got it on Black Friday sale. Currently, that same card is $200.
What?
Yes. I had to do a double take and look at multiple websites. It's like, no, this thing shot up in price.
What in the half price off is this?
Yeah. And it's like, it's a good thing I got this when I did, because it was a little not great dealing with the 256 gig card that I was using, but also,
jeez, and I thought only Sony was hurting from the AI problem. That is,
yeah. So, like, it wasn't a bad, it wasn't a misguided idea that, oh, physical games are getting more expensive because all of this, the storage medium hardware is being bought up by AI companies, and it's like, oh, well, we can kind of undercut the digital version, so then we don't have to produce as much physical.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
Even then, the way that the MSRP for these two games specifically is, it's like, okay, no, this doesn't actually seem like that is the case. Maybe because Switch 2 game cards use... It's probably because it uses more of a proprietary format inside the card, even if at the end of the day it might still just be like a tiny little SSD type thing. I don't know the specifics, but that idea of it's because of AI doesn't seem like it's the case. Yeah. Kind of... The one not great thing about pre-ordering a physical game like this, with Walmart specifically, you have to do it online. You cannot do it in store, and you cannot pick it up in store. You have to have it shipped to your house. So, I'm not like... If it ends up being delayed by like a day or two, it's not that big of a deal to me because I have other stuff to play. But still, just the fact that like I've been so used to pre-ordering digital where I can just play it day one, not even have to leave the house. I did not pre-order Metroid Prime 4, but I called up my local GameStop to be like, hey, do you have physical copies? And they're like, yeah. So I went over on my lunch break and picked one up. So
you got the hookup from me? Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I could do that, but have the $10 discount, but you can't quite have everything. If it's delayed in the mail by like a day or two, whatever. The upside to that is my place of work lets us have packages get shipped to the office, so it doesn't just get shipped to your house and is just sitting at like on your front porch all day. It just gets brought right to the office. The delivery people even bring it inside the building, so you don't even have to go outside if you don't want to.
Oh.
So, and all with where we're positioned, like, and everything, and with the routing of our local delivery, or the businesses that do delivery, like UPS, FedEx, USPS, they all basically are guaranteed to arrive in the morning, like before noon. So you're not waiting all day, waiting for your package. You're pretty much guaranteed it by lunch, which is great. So
Satisfaction guaranteed by lunch. And no, I'm not talking about your food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyways, I was already kind of planning on getting more single-player focused games, physical on the Switch 2, just because of the ballooning of file sizes, because I think both Yoshi and Splatoon Raiders are 20 gigabytes apiece.
Dang.
So, yeah, which for a Switch 1 game would have been freaking massive.
Yeah.
For Switch 2 games, that kind of seems to mostly be the standard, because I think both Mario Kart World and Kirby Air Riders are both about 20 gigabytes apiece. And I have both of those digital.
And before half the size, it's just because of the graphics.
It definitely... A lot of it has to do with the higher resolution textures because the system is 4K capable.
Yeah, we discussed it before. I still don't see that much of the appeal. I just want to play a game that looks nice, doesn't have to be that pretty. Well,
yeah.
Unless, okay, I will retract that statement. If next year I buy Gen 10, I play it, and it ends up actually looking a lot better than I expected, then I might retract on that statement. That'll be the only way I will say otherwise.
Yeah. Granted, a lot of that will have to do with the display that you're playing on. Do you have any 4K displays in your house?
You realize I don't own the Switch 2 yet, right?
Well, yeah, but do you have like a 4K TV or
No,
monitor?
no.
Or whatever?
We're a simple family.
Yeah, I personally do not have a 4K display at all. At least in my room here. In the living room, that's 4K, and we do have another 4K TV in the basement. But I personally do not have like a readily like accessible 4K display that I can use whenever I want. So that's one thing I've really been trying to figure out is, okay, I should at some point, but do I go TV or monitor for 4K? I'm kind of leaning more towards monitor, but that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, the fact that, like, to get the most out of those, like, that increase in file size is to spend more money on a higher resolution display is not great. But that's just kind of how technology is that every so often, to get the most out of your equipment, you do kind of have to make certain upgrades, which was kind of nice with how long the original Switch generation lasted, because that only did 1080p, and it's like, oh, perfect, I don't really have to care about 4K at all. But then Switch 2, and they're like, yep, 4K. It's like, okay. Now there's gonna be that even higher, like, I know, dichotomy. Anyways,
Soul Warrior
because,
with the raid! Thank you so much for the raid, Soul Warrior. Wasted training. Oh no. Please don't tell me something happened with... Oh, what game you were playing? I saw you were promoting it earlier. Oh, so sorry about that. I was like,
That's okay. Yeah.
You were playing, God Eater. Oh, okay, I didn't know where that was going. Oh, jeez. Anyways, continue, Jazek.
Yeah, so basically because of the ballooning in file size of Switch 2 games, I'm deciding to get more single-player focused games physical, just because they're that much bigger, and the fact that even though digital games or digital versions of first-party Switch 2 games are for the most part going to be cheaper, but then retailers like Walmart come in and are like, no, you can get the game physical for the digital price. So that's it almost kind of feels like a situation of I get to eat my cake and have it too.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it. It's nice knowing that you can. Also, Soul Warrior, yikes. What if your honeymoon mission, by the way? Like, is it says that now your character's not with you anymore, or is it just that he's taking a break? Well, that's what I'm wondering about this. I don't know what God Eater myself, though. That's why I have to ask about the details.
Yeah, same. I know nothing about God Eater.
So Soul has to, like, tell us the details here in this case. But yeah, no, it's funny. I wanted to actually talk about it real quick. Like, it would be funny in due time when all of a sudden, hey, I got a 4K TV as a hand-me-down.
Right.
That would just be the weirdest yet. I mean, it ultimately will happen in due time. Hopefully not too long. Oh no. Anyways, yeah, continue, Josh. Sorry.
Well, for your Switch library, how much of it would you say is, like, what's the ratio of, like, physical versus digital that you have?
Ooh, good question. I want to say, okay, the Picross S series is gonna absolutely, w- um, yeah, my Picross S series is gonna absolutely tilt that ratio one-sided. Without Picross, probably 3:1. So with Picross, it's about 1.5:1 in favor still of digital. Sorry, physical.
Okay. Okay. And haven't you said that you don't have a micro SD card for your Switch at all? You've still been using the 32 gigs of internal storage?
Yeah, I had to like archive some of the games that I've yet not to play anymore. Like especially the Picross series. Like once you finish a game, you can kind of just put it down straight away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I've kind of been coming back around to, or just coming around to in general with the Switch 2. Because I cannot have all of my games downloaded to the system at the same time like I could for the original Switch, it's like, yeah, there are a bunch of games that, like, I've beaten or am just done with that, like, why do I have to have these on my system?
Exactly.
Yeah, why am I keeping these on my system? So, kind of keeping the internal storage like that free for new stuff and the stuff that you're currently playing, but then also taking advantage of the fact that, let's be honest, if you're a sane human being, you use a case for your Switch or Switch 2, and and that case most likely has slots for physical games. So basically, like, I'm also wanting to take advantage of both of those ideas, is keeping the internal storage trimmed down to stuff that I'm currently playing or want to get to soon, and just stuff that I like to pop into on a whim.
Are you telling me that Proton John / Claire and Steven George are same people and we are not?
I mean, if you buy the vast majority of the Wii library, you are not a sane human being. I'm sorry, Steven.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, at least he's has all those games now for his new stream format.
Yeah, it's funny though, by the way, and I think about it, we haven't really heard much from him in terms of collections things, like... But anyways, that's besides the point.
Yeah, gotta have a little shelf control here.
Someone getting
a call today. Yeah. But yeah, it's, yeah, given the fact that with the Switch, you have both the internal storage and also the storage of physical games inside of your case, why not take advantage of both? It's, like, yeah, shelf control, what's that? I don't know, Soul Warrior, if you, know of Steven George. Shelf control is a new, stream format that he's introduced in, like, the various formats that he does. I say various, it's really only just breakfast stream and gaming.
Yeah.
But, yeah, basically, viewers can donate bits for specific games, and those games go onto a list, and whenever it's time to play a new game, 5 games get randomly selected based on, like, the tier of how much bits have been put towards that game, and then viewers can vote on which game gets played next for 30 minutes. It's definitely derived from Proton John's or Claire's fortune cookie streams, but with, like, I think an interesting, like, extra layer to things, because inadvertently viewers can choose what gets played by, like, donating bits. It's just people that donate more bits will inherently be more likely to see the game that they donate for get played. So. Oh, and not in a shelf. Yeah.
Mine are all in a shelf.
But yeah, like, this is something that I came around to back in, what was it, 2023? It was several years ago that is like, oh, I should get more games physical than digital. But then Nintendo reintroduced the game voucher system, where you could get digital first-party Nintendo games for $10 cheaper. And it was like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna save money and just still get digital, but save money. But now they're not bringing back that same game voucher system, but they kind of are with, like, the new digital pricing. I don't know, there hasn't been, like, one central point to this. This is just something that I wanted to, like, bring up, is like, yeah. Just with, like, I was already planning on leaning more towards physical with single-player games. But then now they basically make digital games cheaper, and it's like, should I just go back to digital? But then Walmart is like, no, you can get physical for digital prices. I felt like I've said the same thing 5 times.
Yeah, I think you did. Just saying. No offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the gist of that.
Oh, what was that meme? Dude, this is the 5th time you have brought this up in class.
Oh, from Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, there we go.
Like,
Thank you.
Yeah, Sean, this is the... Or... Sean?
I think it's Sean. Unless Soulmori wants to correct us in the chat.
Yeah, it can be at times. That's why typically for stuff like this, I would like to write down notes, but this is something that I wasn't anticipating bringing up. But it was kind of last minute of, maybe could.
Could.
So, yeah,
Sheen, yes, there we go.
Sheen, yeah. Yeah. When, if and when you get a Switch 2, do you think you're gonna stick to, like, kind of the same, ratio, or just, like, maybe mindset that you have for digital versus physical into the Switch 2?
It's tough, because you're talking to someone who has lived with a limited space for all his life. And I don't only mean digitally, I mean physically. So, I've been kind of used to, like, managing space around me. So, all of a sudden you give me instead of a sandbox, you give me an absolute playground. I don't know how I would react. Like, that's basically where I am with the bigger space of the Switch 2 when in due time I do buy one, which I'll definitely buy one at the end of this year.
Okay.
Especially Pokopia being very tempting for me, to be honest. But back to what I was saying, I don't know how I would feel in terms of having the bigger space. And maybe there'll be some games I want to play, but I feel like I want to manage how I play my games to the point where I may not even be buying that many digital games, to be honest.
Yeah. Although it's funny that you say that, and you brought up Pokopia. The physical version of that is a game key card where you have to download the data anyways.
Yeah.
So, at that point, it's up to you of, do you want to have that purpose, or that purchase, excuse me,
of a actual, like, what's that, the cartridge, right? The game cover.
Yeah, like, do you want the ability to, like, share that with people and whatever, or not? Yeah, it's kind of why I haven't wanted to buy a physical Switch 2 game that is a game key card is because it's like...
Sorry, I want to bring this up. I just see that I see that game key sucks. Yeah, I don't know about the inner workings behind it for me to give an opinion about the game key. But I'm just saying this in the front. I'm way more of a physical guy.
Yeah.
To clarify.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I haven't really wanted to get a Switch 2 game physical if it's not on the cartridge, and that's why so far the only like physical Switch 2 game that I have is Metroid Prime 4. There's like other reasons why I want to continue to get certain games digital, if it's like better for pick up and play, or if it's more like online multiplayer focused. I feel like that works better with being digital, especially the mainline Splatoon games, with how much that game ends up being update data. Like, if you got Splatoon 3 physical at launch, that's probably effectively at this point a game key card with how much of the game is update data.
Yeah, it's very true.
But yeah, also I wanted to get Donkey Kong Bonanza physical, but it's like, well, it's not even 10 gigabytes. I'll just get it digital.
That's small.
Right. Yeah, and the Emerald Rush DLC barely added a gigabyte.
That's kind of good management of space for a launch game of the Switch 2, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
But, yeah. But also, yeah, like, only under very specific circumstances do I think I'm going to even consider getting a game key card. But even then, it's like... still don't like them.
Yeah, that's very true. I agree. It's definitely doesn't feel great.
Oh,
what also doesn't feel great is what Sora put. I agree. Bring up that, then there's COD, Call of Duty ever since Black Ops. Oh. Yeah, all of the updates with that. Jeez Louise, we've been doing that since Switch. Oh my, wait, 16 years?
Oh, that is 16 years ago. Oh. Ooh. Sorry, I don't normally get, like, that sort of feeling of, like, oh, I'm old. But, oh my gosh, that is 16.
That was not the feel I was getting. That feel was like, why for that long you've been updating, bruh? Just stop.
That too, yeah. But also just the fact that 2010 is 16 years ago. Yeah.
Congratulations, Sora. You made Jazak feel ancient.
Yeah, it wasn't the fact that, like, oh, within the past year I had to look into, like, getting my own health insurance because America. It was that that made me feel old. But also, yeah, the series in general, Call of Duty, is just, yeah.
It just feels that way, sadly. Anyways, I feel like we managed to keep this up for quite a bit, actually. We're at 1 hour 38, which actually segues nicely. I think we can just quickly brief about this. Joy-Con management. Wrong side.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm actually surprised it's taken me 9 years, well, almost 9 years, to finally buy new controllers. If you're wondering, I got this off from an actual store. I was actually surprised they were still selling Joy-Con for Switch 1. And then my friend actually got me a big controller right here. This actually is compatible to Switch 1, Switch 2, and it lights up. Guess how much I got this for, Jazek?
How much did it cost?
Yeah, at least from what I bought.
I mean, there's a lot of, sorry, now my preview is finally showing it. What brand is that?
It's a GameSir controller.
GameSir, okay.
Sorry, I totally am not trying to do this for the thumbnail.
Is Is it less than $50 US?
Yes.
Okay. Is it 30?
Lower. When I bought it, it was lower.
20?
Lower.
Really? 10?
About there. I bought it for 15 Singapore dollars.
Okay, wow.
But that's actually because the person who I bought it from admitted to me that it's slightly faulty. At half battery, even though it lights up by itself in colors, but at half battery, it kind of spazzes out in color. 10 cents.
Interesting.
No, not that price. Don't worry, that would be kind of ridiculous.
$1, Bob. $1.
Jeez Louise. Yo, actually, imagine budget. The price is right. Instead of in thousands, it's now in dollars and cents.
Right.
They just put the dot in the middle of the.
Yeah, you have to get the prices exactly correct to the cent.
Yeah. In all seriousness, though, that one is about 48 US dollars actual price. But the person who bought it, like I said, that it was a bit faulty, so he just sold it to me for 15 Singapore dollars, or about 10 US.
Okay.
Or a murder spree. Jeez Louise.
Oh man. But anyway, so that was a used controller basically.
No, it's just a faulty controller. Like, he bought it off the hands of
faulty.
like about 59, 60 bucks, but unfortunately he realized that the controller was faulty.
Okay.
So that's why he sold it to me at a much cheaper price, which it is reasonable for a controller that, you don't know if it's gonna work properly. But
yeah,
main point is that I'm actually was quite surprised that it took me 9 years to finally do this. Jazz knows when I bought my Switch, and that was 2019, in the midst of a very, very rough period for me. And ever since then, that red and blue Joy-Con have always been on my Switch ever since. I never bought a new Joy-Con until last week.
Yeah, I've kind of been like astonished about that. Is like, wow, you're still using the same pair of Joy-Con. I think they're like, for the issues that they have, I think overall they are good, but it's like once you use just a normal controller for the Switch, it's like you kind of want to use that as much as you can, basically. Like, whenever I'm playing docked, 99% of the time I'm using a Pro controller. Unless if it's a casual game where like I feel comfortable using a Joy-Con in each hand, that can sometimes be a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
But for a lot of stuff, using an actual controller is nice.
Yeah, I guess it still doesn't own a Pro controller technically.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Pro-styled controller.
It is. By this thing.
So, but yeah, I don't know. It's been interesting. Granted, you haven't really been using your Switch as much lately as
I'm working on it.
Like, yeah, yeah. I sometimes see you pop online playing ZA.
Yeah, I'm still at rank Y, but at least I finally can say I'm in area 3 instead of area 2.
Nice. So, I guess my question is, are your original Joy-Con still, like, issue-free? Or have they developed any issues?
No, unfortunately, I'm actually quite surprised the problem bloomed this year. But the drifting technically started last year. It's just that the drifting was like, oh, it would drift slightly, but then we fixed almost straight away, and it wouldn't appear again until like a few months later that it will be prominent. And as I said, anytime it showed a bit of drifting, I was able to fix it back. Sorry, I shut up. I'm working on it, okay? Anyways, back to the real story. I remember like I was playing playing Silent and Violet, where you had to move the Joy-Con a lot, the joystick a lot in order to move the camera around. And then Luigi's Mansion 3 and 2 and 1 all involve, well, really pulling down the Joy-Con joystick to catch Ghost. I attribute most of the reason for my drifting to those two games, but admittedly, it's not like it was very prominent in terms of the drifting. Like, I didn't have many problems with that. It's kind of very similar to how many people had the Scarlet and Violet issues in terms of crashing, but I did not. I don't know if I'm just in an environment which is suitable for a Switch console, or it's just the fact I got lucky, but I don't know.
Yeah, I've definitely seen people online that are like, yeah, I have a launch day Switch 1 and still been using the same pair of Joy-Con that it came with, and I've had no issues. Although, who's to say that that pair of Joy-Con wasn't their only controllers that they were using? Like, did they have a Pro Controller or other Joy-Con that they were using?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, it's just been interesting that it's like now well into the Switch 2 generation that you finally bought like any sort of additional controller for your system. Official Joy-Con or Pro Controller.
Yeah, and I'm one who doesn't have a Pro Controller at all in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, like, I mean, those who know me, I've used my Xbox One controller from my laptop streaming / personal gaming, but I've never actually decided to, like, use a proper Pro Controller for my Switch. I just felt as though I just felt as though there wasn't any need, considering that, well, the Joy-Cons do a good work.
Yeah, I suppose it does also come down to the kinds of games that you play.
Yeah, I was about to actually lean up towards that. Because for those who know me, the only two consoles, no, that's a lie. The first few consoles I owned, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance SP, new Nintendo 3DS XL. Those were the first three I owned before the Switch. I never owned any Sony nor Microsoft console at all.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I have like a sense or like a general remembrance of like the games that like you've played on your Switch, which is like, I know Mario Party and like the Mario platformers and Picross and like stuff that generally would be considered more quote-unquote casual, which Joy-Con would like definitely suffice for. And even though like I'm not really a competitive player for like any game, but still just like even though like generally I'm not playing super intensive stuff anyways, like still the comfort of an actual controller is, even just for simple stuff, is I think worth it.
The ironic thing is that the comfort of that controller is discomfort for me.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember when I first played Sonic Unleashed. When I bought Sonic Unleashed for a friend of mine and we ended up both playing together, I remember holding that Xbox 360 controller and it felt so weird.
Yeah.
What's this silicone in my hands?
Yeah, it is interesting because for like so much of my life growing up, I only gamed on handhelds like Game Boy Advance and the DS and the 3DS that I was so like used to looking at like the same device that I was holding that it would feel weird playing any kind of console because there was that disconnect of, oh, I'm not looking at the thing that I'm holding. And just, like, immediately the ergonomics of really any controller would hit, and it's like, oh, this definitely does feel better. But, yeah, I don't know, I had something similar. Just a similar thing of playing a console, and it's like, oh, something about this feels weird.
But I feel like you would be a bit more in tune with the classic controller feel than me, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said that when it came to me holding the controller for the first time, like, properly and regularly, it's just like, it definitely felt strange at first, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's, like, a contrast to a lot of people, because I think, like, so much of gaming and gaming discussion for years, like, before the Switch and handhelds really took off, so much just general discussion was focused on consoles. Handhelds weren't really talked about as prevalent, or there wasn't as much of a prevalence. But for, like, people like us, we really only ever use handhelds up until, like, more recently, like, within the past 10 years or so. Roughly. So, like, that's something that not everyone is going to, like, experience, basically. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I actually wake up my Switch? I think I did. Sorry, I'm playing, just, like, messing around with the pair of Joy-Con that I have right here. I got the D-brand Kill Switch kit, and I got a second pair of the grips for my other set of Joy-Con, so then I can just change them out without having to swap the actual cases. So, yeah, it's...
Jazz, I'm disappointed in you, man.
What?
This is not what we mean when I told you to get a grip of yourself, man.
Yeah.
I am so sorry, everybody. I've been on a jokey mood this week, I'll be honest. But then again, there have been some things that recently completion that I've made me happy, so that's why. What is wrong with me?
But one of the other things that I got, let me get my preview up, is this, like, just like, basic connector charging grip for the Joy-Con. Is so then they can attach, and they don't need the extra grip because it already has the grip on here.
That looks so cool, to be honest, though.
Yeah, and it's also really nice just slipping this into whatever, like, bag I already have the Switch in, because whatever Joy-Con that I have already have the grips. So, like, you just find a spot in the bag to just slip this in, and if I want to play tabletop with more of a quote-unquote, like, traditional controller grip, then I can without too much extra footprint. Yeah.
Very true, very true. That definitely looks so snazzy, though, I'll be honest. I mean, as I said, I will probably buy in due time, but for now, I still have to wait for my turn.
Yeah, I should get my actual system, because I have, like, a different set of skins on those Joy-Con, so give me a second here.
Alright, no worries.
So.
I apologize, you guys heard that move of the mic, I had to adjust it. Maintenance in progress, but then again, that is our podcast.
So yeah, fun thing about the kill switch is that I also wasn't anticipating talking about the kill switch on here, but
look,
I'm used
to talk about the kill screen, but not the kill switch.
Yeah, so, like, it's, again, not a sponsor. Unfortunately, I paid them with my own money. I say unfortunately because
is it a lot of money?
The price. The price, yeah. So like it has the system shell on the back, and it has this adhesive cover for the kickstand, and then the grips for the Joy-Con, because it also comes with this like crush-proof shell. So like the system case ends up being part of the overall case that you then bring with you. And speaking of physical games, this can hold 10 games. And here's the skins that I have for the what's the Joy-Con that are on my system. It's like sort of like a I don't know if translucent is the right word. I don't think that is.
No.
Iridescent? No.
Reflective?
Yeah, it's like you shine it at a light source and it shows like the different colors.
Oh, Trat. Luminescent?
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, it's yeah, and it also comes with like thumbstick grips. Basically, I wanted a case that actually feels premium because I have a like a basic plastic system shell, which was fine, but it just felt super like plasticky, super tacky. This thing does feel very premium, and you get the like extra ergonomics.
Look, we all don't want to feel as though we're playing Mario Party 1, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, just like yeah. So, but yeah, I have the other set of Joy-Con 2 colors.
It's awesome.
And, yeah, there was a very infamous problem with the kill switch originally when it released, where if you held it just by the right Joy-Con, the rest of the system would just completely break away and fall. But they redesigned the locking system with how this part wraps around the Joy-Con to where that's not an issue.
Oh, that's good.
It's not an issue with either, so. Anyways.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's kind of funny that we kind of drifted away from drifting in the Joy-Cons to talk about the Switch 2. But at least we know that that kind of problem will not be too much of a problem anymore once we get to the Joy-Con Switch 2. Well, at least not too much.
Yeah, like overall, I do like this. There are some like weird quirks about it, or just like things that I feel like are worth bringing up that not everyone that has like made a video on this has talked about, that I've definitely noticed. And yeah, it is something, again, that I recommend, or something that I like. It's not something that I will just recommend to everyone, because this whole setup with the travel cover, and it does come with a dock adapter that you put like into the dock, so then you can still, without this top shell, be able to still dock the system without taking off the back case. All of that.
To any biology student out there, think of the idea of being able to take out the turtle shell easily from its turtle.
Right. All of that for $80 US. Which, it definitely feels premium, but I do not recommend that for everyone. Yeah, and there's certain qualities about it that is like, a lot of just standard Switch cases, are like a zipper thing where like it zips up, and it will basically completely protect the system from any little bits of like dust and dirt that may be around. This does not give that same kind of seal, because like there's a gap here that you can see like the ZL and ZR buttons, and the way that the kickstand cover is, so then it can still accommodate like the kickstand being completely deployed. it doesn't completely cover the entirety of the kickstand. Just little things like that. I typically use this with a shoulder sling bag, so, and I keep that clean in terms of like what I actually put in there. So that's not really an issue, but still, like little things like that I haven't heard other people who've like made videos on this actually talk about.
I see. Okay.
Anyways, controllers.
It just, I mean, I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, for you, when did your Joy-Con actually properly started drifting to where, like, oh, it's unusable?
So I first had any sort of experience with Joy-Con drift, I think, like, starting 2021-ish. I think I made a tweet about it at the time, where, like, the left blue that came with my V2 model Switch that I got in August 2019 did start to have some issues, and where, like, you'd hold a direction, and for a second it would hold that direction, but then start to, like, slowly recenter itself, even if you were still holding it that direction. And I had a similar case with my Splatoon 2 pair that I got in around, like, August 2018. I had issues with those in 2023. Now, when I upgraded from the V2 to the OLED, I traded in that left blue, right red pair, so that wasn't really an issue for me anymore. The Splatoon pair, there's a thing set up here in the States to where we can just send in faulty controllers like that to Nintendo, and they'll repair or replace them for free. So you just have to, like, set up an order with them, but, like, it doesn't cost anything, so it's like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that. I have other controllers I can use, and I get basically a completely fresh set. So, yeah, I was having some issues, but it was only ever really with one pair at a time. And I had other controllers that I could use.
Then again, I also gotta remind myself, use time. Also kind of factor, because I mean, Jazz knows me. I don't have as much time as he does with my Switch, so I don't usually use my Joy-Con as much. Maybe that's also another reason why mine has lasted for this long.
Yeah, if you're not consistently using the Switch, then it's kind of understandable or not unexpected that you wouldn't have any sort of issues for a while. Yeah, I think it's just, like, the fact that Switch has been my default device to play games on. That's why I was always kind of, in the back of my mind, like, worried about, like, just suddenly, Joy-Con that I have just developing drift. So that's partially the reason why I eventually got several sets is, oh, well, even if, like, multiple sets get drift at a time, I can send those in and still use whatever the good pair is.
Yeah.
But that really didn't end up being the case, but at the same time, my usage ended up being spread across all those different sets, not to mention my Pro controller.
Ah, yeah, another one.
So, yeah.
It's definitely interesting to see about. I mean, it's just kind of interesting, though. Now we've gone from, like, oh no, Joy-Con drift, one of the worst things ever to happen on the Switch, and all of a sudden Switch 2 is like, yeah, what's that problem again?
Yeah, there were some talks about some launch units having drift, but out of morbid curiosity, I just at least once or twice a week browse the various Switch-related subreddits. I have not heard or seen a single report of drift past the initial launch month of the Switch 2.
Oh, understandable. No, not that. I'm laughing over the phrase morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
That's why I was just like giggling to myself.
Yeah, Reddit. Reddit can be Reddit sometimes, like how Twitter can be Twitter sometimes.
At least Reddit is a bit more, I don't know, user-friendly to an extent.
Yeah, Reddit is definitely set up more for actual discussion.
And not people just being absolute, not gonna say the word again, so the judge doesn't have to blur it.
Yeah, but actual discussion doesn't always end up happening on Reddit. Despite that, even though that's actually what the upvote and downvote system are actually meant for, is does this comment actually add anything to the conversation? It's not meant to be a like-dislike.
Yeah.
I did not know that until recently, or somewhat recently, and it's like, oh, wow, yeah, that's very bad design if, in this modern day, I thought it was basically just a like-dislike system.
To be fair, I could see why they say upvote and downvote, because of the idea that you push up something, a post up to the top of a page, so that it gets more views.
Yeah, or it's like actually adds something to whatever the conversation is.
Pretty much. The idea is there. It's just that because of how society is, it definitely was a bit... I mean, something got blurred along the way.
Yeah, well, I think it's just how much more prevalent social media in general has become, like, since Reddit became a thing.
Yeah.
That people started, like, taking that concept of, like, liking or disliking something to a platform that has a very similar system, like Reddit, even though that's not the intention of that system. I don't know. It's it is very interesting. Yeah, that
nuance.
Yeah, that change in how people use a system that has not changed in decades.
Yeah,
basically.
That's very true. I don't know. In due time, once I get my Switch 2, maybe I can report back on like how I feel about it, and we can definitely discuss even more about like the between the two, like discuss what the differences are, how we feel about it, advice, etc. But for now, still sticking with my trusty Switch 1, which I honestly I'm slightly surprised has lasted me for this long.
I mean, again, it hasn't been your main device for gaming. You've definitely played games. You definitely played games on it, but it seems like as a whole you gravitate more towards playing stuff on PC.
Yeah, although now I'm starting to realize a bit of a silly act on my end, because I realize how convenient the Switch is compared to my PC loading up. So I don't know what was I thinking, to be honest, to an extent. But hopefully I can fix that in due time, where I am actually using my Switch a lot more compared to my PC. It does help, and I might as well give a slight update. I know that my Minecraft Let's Play has been kind of on the hold. I'm still waiting on one person to give me back on the status on when we're going to do the project. But I actually have been pausing a bit on my play of Minecraft, because I actually managed to get a pretty dang good time just like on a seed.
Oh, nice.
Random seed generated on version 1.26.1. I managed to beat the game in 1.55 hours.
Okay.
And,
nice.
for those who are not nerds, 93 minutes. Now, I know it's not fast, but honestly, I've started with 3 hours, 2 hours, and now it's 1.5 hours. Oof. getting better. And I do have a system as to how I beat the game too. It's all now up to luck into whether it gives me A, looting, enchantments so that I can get more items from killing enemies, and B, whether the generation of the world is kind to me in allowing me to access resources quickly.
Yeah, I was about to ask, have you been playing on the same seed or just random generation? So,
and I treat it like hardcore, where even though I set it to easy, as soon as I die, I just reset.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Oh yeah, hopefully in due time I will be able to give my opinions of Switch 2, and also talk about the drifting differences I noticed, and also other differences. Will be interesting to see.
A nice quick nice thing is that if you're still planning on keeping your original Switch around, I don't know if you are or not, but original Switch Joy-Con you can wirelessly pair to the Switch 2 and use them for even Switch 2 games. So it's up to you if you want to. If you're still,
I mean, these are new, so
yeah, it really comes down to are you gonna keep your original system, because there's no way to directly charge an original Switch Joy-Con on the Switch 2 because of the completely different connection mechanism.
Yeah.
So if you end up not keeping your original Switch around, eventually you'll have to get some kind of charging accessory.
We'll see. Well, I'll see how I
them.
can work around it. I definitely will be asking sources around, maybe you even, for advice.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely plenty of charge stands that you can get for both first party and third party for original Switch controllers, because those type of stands just then go to a USB-A that just plugs into the dock, and you can just plug those into a Switch 2 dock.
Yeah.
So, it's up to you.
Yeah, it will be in due time, definitely. Alright, with that, that's going to be it for today, I'll be honest. I feel like we've got some pretty good conversations out of the window. Well, I can say this right now, though. I know exactly what we're discussing in podcast number 41.
Yeah?
And it relates to... Oh boy, how do I remember the topic? It does relate to... hang on, give me a moment to think about this. It's a good thing this is the end of the podcast, so I could just think about it. I remember that we were something that we said that I do want to bring up. What was it? I mean, one of the minor things was definitely physical versus digital game collection. We could definitely just explore a bit more on that. And its appeal versus, its appeal now versus its appeal in the future, considering what Switch 2 had been doing.
Yeah, because, so many people these days are, even compared to, 10 years ago, more people are preferring digital. So it's is that going to still slowly trend towards even more people preferring digital 10 years from now? And is that going to be just from preference, or from companies deciding to basically just be purely digital? I mean,
exactly.
Nintendo's really the only company that's actually producing much of actual physical games, even if they are kind of offering some companies the easy route of game key cards, but that can be a whole discussion.
Well, also will be the whole discussion next time when we join will be the situation with Xbox, or should I say the positive situation with Xbox.
Oh.
With the recent price cuts they have been doing with their Game Pass, and all of a sudden Xbox becoming its own label again?
Yeah, they've been doing some I've been seeing some rebranding stuff, and didn't they have a change in leadership?
Yeah, which is why we want to. I think we'll be discussing that in podcast number 41.
Nice.
Well, of course, the next podcast, as I mentioned, will be the podcast Light number 5. Kazu, Patrick, and I will be discussing about the over/hypersexualizing of gacha game characters, in this case, on the woman's side. So that'll be interesting to discuss, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.